Join us for a review of the Ford Ranger Raptor. Let's go! Here you can see the Ranger Raptor gets this special masked front grille with a big Ford badging, then a contrasting silver right here, so a very strong off-roadish look, very rugged. 5 meters 36, 211 inches or 17 foot 6 is the length here of the Ranger Raptor, in general of all the Ford Rangers. That's about 20 inches shorter than an F-150. Pretty interesting. Then the wheels comes here with 17 inch with those semi-off-road tires, pretty rugged, also here with the plastic wheels, but they are painted also, so very interesting in the matte way. Also contrasting mirror caps. Then we have this side step right there, of course the classic pickup building style. Then this, well, sometimes they call it sports bar, here also in a contrasting color. A typical boxy shape here in the rear. And by the way, did you know that the Ford Ranger is the most sold pickup in Germany? That's also a fun fact. Let's see how the Raptor will also change or confirm that. Well, then also on technology side, this one here, the Ranger Raptor, comes with special Fox performance dampers for even more dampening performance and also off-road capability. So what about the loading area? We can close it off here, and also this mountain top which is available. Let's open it right here. Oh, surprise! We got Larissa from Autogefühl here. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. I have quite a lot of space in here.
So she's volunteering as a model here for us today. Thank you so much. And then we can even better see how we can close and open it. Here to the left, you close it. To the right, you open it. And here we go. So I'll set you free. Oh, you can help us with the measurements here.
Yeah.
So what about the length? So this is about 1 meters 50 in length here, the loading area. And the width is, let's see. Here we go. And the width is about 1 meters, yeah, a little bit more than 1 meters 40. But here for the Ranger Raptor, they went for the smallest diesel, for the 2-liter diesel, but then with 213 horsepower, so quite tuned to 500 Newton meters of torque. And that's what we see here. And 10.5 seconds is the acceleration figure to 1 kilometers an hour or 62 miles an hour. And thinking about our friends in the US, the Raptor is not available there yet, but there are rumors that you guys will get a V6 Raptor then. The Ford Performance entry badge together with Raptor floor mats and also aluminum pedals. And this one here, the shifting pedals at the steering wheel for this 10-speed automatic gearbox are from magnesium. That's quite nice. Then soft touch here at the dashboard with a leather red cover. And interesting seats, special sports seats here. Rarely see those in pickup trucks. Got some microfiber in here, also with the Raptor badging, and then they use a mix of some parts are leather red and some parts are real animal. This one here, the 8-inch touchscreen with a Ford Sync 3, basically does the job. Here all done via touch. Classic climate unit here in the lower part, but this one is also quite old school. At least you can control it quite well while driving. Some rubber around those volume knobs and also for the tune. Again, this questionable build quality, this is not where this car is leading, not at all. Interesting gear shifting lever design here for the 10-speed automatic gearbox. 10-speed, really. Then in the lower part you can also change from just rear-wheel drive to four-wheel drive, and then the low gear range. And the very lower part, 2 USB supplies, 12-volt power supply. And then we have adaptive cup holders in the lower part. Manual handbrake, yeah, for some drifting action for sure. So more details to the infotainment screen. Here with the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto connections are also available. And here another close-up of the instruments. You know, with those sport seats, of course, maybe a little bit less legroom. It does directly fit. I do hit the seat with my knees when I sit as I would be driving, but again, it's still quite okay. Headroom-wise, of course, it's not a problem. And you sit quite upright in here, so it's still decently comfortable. Welcome to Thomas's driving part here, or the driving lounge as I call it, with the Ford Ranger Raptor. And I have been driving this car here as the Ranger Wildtrak a while ago. So you can also tune into that review if this version is relevant to you, maybe, or more relevant, and to compare it. Here, of course, special as for the riding experience, this newly tuned diesel and also those Fox performance dampers. And indeed, I mean, this car is still somewhat an off-road truck, but the dampers definitely make it stiffer. So usually in the Ranger you would, have more shaking up effect here, but here when I really go some slalom alike, the car doesn't shake up too much. So those performance dampers definitely hold it stiffer, and maybe they're also braced for a bigger impact. So yes, you can theoretically also do jumps with this car, but I mean, come on, who does that for real? So, and then it is then a little bit more fun to drive with the Ranger Raptor. So you have a little bit more sporty fun, if you can have sporty fun with such a vehicle. Of course, that's still limited. The steering is pretty light and not too direct. The off-road character of the car still takes place. Because off-road you need a little bit more steering weight and so on, but that's also totally fine. It gives you a decent overview to the rear and also to the side, so you have a good feeling for the car, and indeed it doesn't feel too big, it doesn't feel too heavy, so you can still get along also in somewhat narrower surroundings. And here those shifting pedals, they are nicely done. Gears react quite well, so you can always go back a gear. For example, if you, let's say, go downhill for a while or something, and then want to shift down some gears, so you can do that. And of course, up here, also shifting up if you want. So you can really be in control. Other than that, this automatic gearbox does a good job in putting through the gears. Let's cancel the route right here. Well, this roundabout here, you could also just go straight here up the pavement, and this is nothing for the car. So this is also a quite good feeling when you're going over some speed humps or so. Bam, just right over them, and that's it. Of course, you shouldn't drive faster due to that fact. But still, quite fun here with this upright and high seating position. You sit well above the road, have this good overview, and a little sportier ride. So I would say yes, this one here is more fun to drive than a normal Ford Ranger, and this is also one of the things they intended to have. The diesel here, by the way, it really depends on which gear you are in. When you hammer the throttle a little bit more, yes, we are just following a toilet, a driving toilet, yeah. Maybe some of you guys already noticed this. There's a driving toilet in front of us. It's not quite often that you have a driving toilet in front of us, in front of you on the road, right? So yeah, always interesting live aspects. By the way, this blinking or beeping sound you sometimes hear, this is actually when you exceed the speed limit. So, and you can turn it off because after a while it can get a little bit annoying, definitely. So guys, welcome to our off-road part, and we went to neutral and then went into the 4H, so the all-wheel drive mode, and we also activate the rear differential lock. So we have great traction and also when going uphill. But first we start here with some water and always keep it slow and steady. But I mean, this has here some significant wading depth, but always fun to drive through water. Always looks better from the outside, of course. And now we get uphill, and for that, it's slowly uphill at first, but then it gets steeper, so we can go to the neutral again and go to the 4 low mode. Then we have the off-road gear reduction, so that's already switched. And then we can get even more traction to ground, not high speed, but more power at slow speed and also more controls. Then thumbs out of the steering wheel, in case it doesn't dislocate my thumbs then. So you can put them on the steering wheel, and now we drive uphill. This suspension here, the performance suspension, is stiffer on road, but it's also stiffer off-road then, of course. So it is very rough off-roading. So that's the disadvantage. It gets really rough in here. I mean, it's also rough low ground, but it's very, very rough then, definitely to feel it. So that's the downside. The tires, however, they hook up great. So those off-road tires are really awesome here. So there's no traction loss whatsoever. So I'm really keen on those tires in the off-road performance. Also keen on those on the on-road performance. And again, suspension, keen on the suspension on-road performance, but not keen on that off-road. So it's a mix, So usually for off-roading you would need those tires with a softer suspension. For on-roading you would need the stiffer suspension, but then with the on-road tires. So yeah, that's probably the compromise they try to go there. So, and here, a lot of fun, pretty agile to drive it also off-road. And now to our conclusion for today with the Ford Ranger Raptor. Styling wise, really cool on the exterior, so strong. I really love it, especially this relation to the F-150 Raptor. And it works, and it's also a little bit more agile than the F-150 because it's just smaller. On the interior, yeah, that's the downside. I mean, you have enough space, yes, but then again, the build quality is really not living up to the price. For a base Ranger, yes, that's okay, but if you pay double the price in the base Ranger, I think you can expect a little bit more. Driving wise, pretty good on the road. Well, maybe not with the off-road tires, but the suspension is really good for on-road driving. Then again, for off-road driving, those tires are great, but suspension then is a little bit stiff for off-road driving, but overall quite interesting. Minimum fuel consumption, about 9 liters on 1 kilometers. On the road, minimum 26 mpg US, 31 mpg UK, about that. Of course, will be a little bit worse as for the fuel economy if you hammer it a little bit more or in the mixed fuel economy. So again, that was a minimum feature. Overall, this diesel here, although it's a diesel, it's quite high in the fuel consumption. Looking also forward, definitely, if it will come at the V6 in the US. And I hope you really enjoyed this tour here today, on-road and off-road. You can see the road is blocked here from us, so we have to continue on further. Doing some off-road for today. See ya.